So what's up? How you doing today? We are going to take a look at playing in versus playing out, the first in a new series here. Something that I think is really important to know how to do when you improvise, especially if you want to really kind of jam out, because it gives you a lot of control and it helps you take the listener on a more structured journey where you're going from one place and you're going to another. Adds a lot of contrast, a lot more depth, and just kind of keeps you from sounding, boring and predictable in your playing. But with that said, let's give a quick listen to me playing with the backing track, playing as in and boring as I can, and then I'll show you what's going on there, and then I'll show you what's going on when we can play out and some more ideas and techniques for that. So let's give it a listen. So what is playing in? But it is when you're playing, everything sounds like it just goes right together. So in terms of no choices, you're playing right inside the key. Everything just kind of matches right up. Out is maybe a little more dissonant, not consonant. Sounds out there, spacey, or out in space, that kind of thing. And it's a great thing to be able to play one, the other, or kind of go back and forth at times. Kind of creates this tension and release. Just creates this interesting kind of, aspect to your playing. So in this particular case, we're going to look at no choices, which is what a lot of people focus on when they're playing in versus out, but also just kind of in general. It doesn't have to be, though. You can do anything. I mean, say Hendrix, for example, would just mess around with his knobs and go back and forth with the pickup selector real fast, and that would make a really weird out sound, even though it had nothing to do with notes. So you can do it with effects, all sorts of things. So we're going to look at some notes, though. In this particular case, the track I'm using here, it's just going over an A minor or an A minor 7, specific to an E7 flat 9. So that chord itself is already sounding out. So we want to match that out sound. And we can do this stuff without, even if the chords are not what they call out. But more on that in a second with this chord here. But what I was doing in that example is I was just playing the A minor scale, just playing it safe and just trying to run up and down it, just real easy and nothing crazy, but make it sound very safe, like I'm just playing right along with the scale and the key. But one thing we can do is to get away from the scale there, is to play a diminished arpeggio over the second chord here, over this E7 flat 9, and that's going to stress that thing called a flat 9. But before we get into what that is, let's just give a listen to how that sounds. I'm going to be going from one to the other and just notice the different kind of moods it creates, and then we'll check out a little more what's going on with it. So again, when we were playing over the A minor, we've got the A minor scale, right? It all works great, and that works over the other chord as well. But this chord right here is this E7, right? So it's just like playing an E7, right? If you know any of these ways of playing it, with a flat 9, and that basically, I'm not going to get into all the theory here, but that basically means here's an E. It's just right above the E, right above the root. It's the same as a flat 2, but they call it flat 9. And so if you're playing like this, it's like, I don't even know if I can do this, like that, fingering's really weird. And it adds some tension. So this chord is already what they would call out sounding, because, and out, it's not like this is like an exact science of in, versus an out sound. It's it can certainly be subjective, but definitely sounds kind of harsh to me. Sounds like it's out there. And that is because this note is clashing with the note here, which is down here though. You hear those two just separate. It's like, ooh, it's harsh, but they're separated by an octave at least. They're far apart, but still clashing. So that's a 7-flat-9 chord, right? And to get that, to stress that sound, a diminished 7th arpeggio works great, and it's a really easy thing. It's a fancy sounding name, fancy weird sounding chord, but it's actually not that hard to play. There's actually, I'm not going to get too into all the theory of it all, but it's basically you just take any one of these 4 notes and they just keep inverting over themselves. You just play 3 frets up, 3 frets up. So if I played it here, another 3 frets, but if I just do it on the string here, this is all just 3 frets up, 3 frets up, and then, same thing reversed. And that gives you a really kind of strange sound, but that outlines the chord perfectly, because here is now a note that's outside of the key, outside of that minor scale. This is a major 7th, so here's our A. Normally it'd be this note right here, a G. You get this G sharp, sounds a little weird, but that's in this chord. So that note right there pulls it out of the key, just that one note. Like it's a whole different key, but just that one note. So by playing this, we get that note and it matches up with the chord more. And then this is the 5th of E, the flat 7, and there's that flat 9. So there actually is no root. There's no E, which is fine. You don't actually have to always play the name of the chord kind of when you're playing it. You can just dance around it, because somebody else, like in the track, is playing that. Well, not somebody else, that's me, but that playing that chord there with the root, the bass. They also, kind of hitting that note, focusing on that a lot. So that's a way to do that. That's a way to get out there, and we don't need to only do this when this chord is weird like that. We can actually do this if, say, it was an example of A minor to an E7, and even you may be like, wait, that note's there, it's going to clash. That's fine. That's actually what we want. That's one way of getting out there is a lot of clashing, doing it in kind of the right kind of way. As long as you're doing it, and you go along, but you resolve it down. So the longer you don't resolve it, the more tension's going to build. But after a while, it can just sound a little kind of junky if you don't kind of bring it back in a little bit here and there. So you don't need to do it when this chord is that flat 9. You can do it anytime. So this is a great trick to use in a lot of situations. And a minor to a 7th chord, even if it's E, it could be just you could simply do it over an A minor to an E. So it works there too. So that is an easy way to just play out and go in and then out and have a good contrasting sound. And if that's helpful, you want to play along with the backing track that was just what you heard there, so you can practice this and follow along the chart. I got a link down below to my Patreon page. It's a Patreon exclusive, and not only that, if you become a patron, there's all kinds of PDFs and backing tracks just stockpiled on there. You can download them and have them on your phone, your computer, whatever, print them out, whatever you want to do. Maybe not print out the backing track, but print out the charts. And you can have fun with it and make it part of your repertoire. And hopefully that will add some more depth to your playing. But have fun with it, and I'll see you in the next video.